We wanted it to make a splash, which is why we held back until this year. We've been negotiating to get the digital thing all under one umbrella for months and months and months, and then we had to master everything for, like for streaming. Technically, it's just slightly different than say for vinyl or CD. And that's the entire catalogue, so you've got to do every single song and check them. So, we've been doing it for months to get it ready. In the rock chart, on day 2, we had 9 albums in the top 20, and we've still got 4 in the top 10, the regular chart right now. And I believe Hysteria is like hovering around number 5 or something. It's 30 years old. It doesn't make any sense, but I'll take it any day. It's been amazing. We were a relatively young band at the time, mid-20s or whatever, and it was our 4th album, and we'd yet to break the UK. And if you're going to break, sooner or later, an album was going to do it. Pyromania didn't, but it did in America. And then Hysteria did. We put a lot of work into it. There just happened to be a lot of great songs on it. It was one of the first albums made for digital, the digital kind of generation, where it was 63 minutes. We didn't try and squeeze it into 40 minutes that fit nicely on vinyl. We made it as a CD. Well, the first time we played Donington Park, it was called Monsters of Rock, and it was 1986, and we were going through cabin fever. We were still making Hysteria. It was yet to come out by literally a year by the time we played there. We were still a year shy of releasing the album, but it was 2 years after Rick's accident. So there was knowledge now on this band from the UK that hadn't really sold any records in England for a while. The first album went top 20. The second album went top 30. The third album, which sold 6 million copies in America, didn't sell in England at all when it was released. But by the time we got to Donington, and it had sold the 6 million like 3 years previously in the States, it had sold maybe 200,000 in the UK, which is a lot of records. And so by the time we got on stage at Donington, there was a crowd that were A, more familiar with our music than we thought, and B, curious as to how this kid's going to play the drums with one arm. Now, we were only 3rd on the bill. It was a great spot for us. We followed Motorhead, and we went on before Ozzy and the Scorpions. We made a point saying, like, okay, we're not going to milk this. He's in the band, but he's not a circus freak. So I'm not going to say anything. We're just going to play our 1-hour set and get off. But it just became blatantly obvious as we were performing that we had to say something. And I remember turning around to Phil going, I'm going to introduce him. He went, yeah, you have to. And I introduced him, and I swear to God, and I've said this many times, it was like standing in front of a massive hairdryer. You could actually feel the crowd, never mind hear him. It was just mad. When I introduced him, there was so much kind of love and respect for what he'd achieved by then, that it made us feel like $1 million. It made us. We went back to the studio to finish that album so energized after those, because we did Monsters of Rock and 3 other European, Monsters of Rock shows. I have great memories of Donington. It's a spiritual rebirthing place for Rick Allen, really. We were asked 5 years ago by some promoters in the States to do a residency in Vegas, and at the time it resonated with us as something different. We were going through a let's do something different phase in our career. We'd just done a session with Taylor Swift, which was very unusual for a band like us. And they said, would you consider doing an entire record for a month, 4 shows a week sort of thing in Vegas, 3 shows a week in Vegas? We did it, and it was a resounding success. We did a DVD. And then the requests started coming in from the rest of the world. You've got to come and do it somewhere else. And we promised the UK, in fairness, we promised the UK 5 years ago that eventually we would. There's a demand for us to tour the UK, but we don't have a new record out, so we're not just going to keep going out doing the greatest hits for the sake of it. So it's like, instead of just doing that and doing essentially the same tour that we did with Whitesnake 2 years ago, let's turn it into an event. So we decided now's the right time to play Hysteria in the UK.